like dealing with a 10-pound octopus baby that costs $2,000. So we're doing design decisions. Well, I'm gonna do design decisions, and I guess they're gonna find out that we're doing design decisions. We're doing the lantern launch on Friday. So I know it's been a really weird build for everyone, and it's been super interesting, super strange. It should be a good conversation. Let's go check it out. Yeah, do you guys want to do a design thing for the lantern?
Sure.
It's launching on Friday, so there's totally a license thing behind your head, Mike, that no one can see. So that'll be really interesting. Okay. You'll have to blur that out. Just blur it out.
That super secret thing?
Yeah, that super secret thing on the wall.
Really close.
That's been like a year going, and no one's allowed to know about it. So while you guys fiddle with your toys.
Did you make toys?
So this is launching on Friday, correct?
Thursday. We're just gonna mention it on Unleashed, and only people that watch the episode on Thursday will know that we launch on Thursday. But Friday is really when we let everybody know via email.
All right, cool. So why don't you tell me, like, what was the first product where we started messing with electronic? What was the idea?
It was Valhalla screens.
Right.
And it was LEDs in some of the sculpts we always wanted to do. We're still toying around with like a lighted bar for the back, like on the bottom of a dice rack. And that really got us here. Jeremiah's kind of a technology whiz.
He's a tinkerer.
A tinkerer. That's a good way to put it. So he really brought these in, not the lantern, but he brought these lights in as kind of a possible solution for that. We've been talking about a dice tower, like a standalone table-sized dice tower for a year or two at least. And I don't know, it just kind of, one thing led to another. It was really timing, just like anything else. We started off with one of these, that back shitty one right there. So this is kind of the first iteration of it. We were picking up plexiglass, I remember, and we had this idea to make a see-through tower that was sculpted on the sides. You know, what's it like to make 1,000 of them? So generally at the beginning, we don't go into that much detail, but it certainly can write a product off pretty quickly if we know it's going to be impossible to
do. So after that, we started doing plexi baffles on the inside because we got into punch-through sculpting. So double-sided sculpting so we can actually see through. We're thinking about the baffling system because we were using dowels, and why don't we do it with plexi, a little more traditional. So you get pop, 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 3 baffles, right, left, right, typical, shoots out the front. It's all right, it's pretty cool, it's a step in the right direction. Beyond that thing,
the design that you ended up going with is super different, super unique, and I don't think anything like, at least any dice tower I've seen, and I've seen a good amount of dice towers at this point. So talk to me about the decision to go with that design, why you decided it was better than pretty much everyone's idea of a dice tower going up to this point.
Yeah, really, it's just iteration and refinement, and we went through 10 different types of LEDs. It
was a big challenge.
Yeah, and really kind of finding out what's available and what we can do with it and how we can change our process to accommodate a lot of those things.
It was probably 4 weeks ago. We had a different design with a different battery, a different internal battery. I think it was a 9-volt. We liked that it was commercially available, 9 volts, they could change. But what we didn't know after cutting 10 of the bottoms with the 9-volt design in place was that it gets really hot. And if you start to use the lights with a lot of variety and bright, it would cut off pretty quickly. And we had to change the whole base design after running 20 blanks through the CNC machine so we could have a variety of woods. We make mistakes all the time.
Some of the beauty of that iterative process is that we made the mistake when we found a better solution. So now we have found a 5,000 milliamp battery that'll run it for 6 hours. That charges, it's like a phone charging battery. You plug your phone into it and charge your phone if you want to. Pull it out of the dice tower, plug it into the wall. So you still get this thing with no cords that runs for a really long time, and it's solid, and the base got a little bit bigger because of that decision, and everything worked out nicely.
Yep. We also did a lot of work on the baffling itself and the height between the baffles and the base, and then a lot of work on the size of the base. So we'd have visibility while still keeping a good amount of dice in the tray. Yeah, it's not perfect. You roll 17 dice through this thing, a bunch are going to pop out because the dice are sitting right below it. And really, the only time that happens is when a die lands on a die. Other than that, they all stay in there. 4, 5, 6 dice, it rolls really well.
This is basically what the internals look like. This is maybe a slightly older one because we modified the baffles to slow everything down. But basically, the internal structure is snap together plexi, and you can see the X's and the crossings that make the baffle. So basically the dice fall down through and go click, 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 and come out.
It's a lot more exciting in the wood structure.
I think it is a bit more exciting.
It's very difficult to sit down and just fabricate ideas. It
Right.
doesn't work that way. Our process is, like we talked before, iterative and kind of bringing some new manufacturing technique to this product, or the electronics, or like a variety of different things and really get away from the burden of that traditionalism
Right.
in woodworking.
Mike's really good. He'll come up with a crazy idea, and then we'll work on the fabrication of it, but then I have to deal with the production side of it.
Yeah.
And he kind of goes, cool, I'm done.
you go.
It's up to you. Go ahead. This was a bitch to finalize
Yes.
and push through QA, where they have to do the final assembly of it. I felt so bad for them at times. Jake, I felt bad for. He was just crushing it.
Well, he was doing the baffling system, right?
He was
and
finalizing the sizing.
every
of the
time
baffling
he would
system.
hold it together, one piece would fall out and
Right,
it would all
yeah,
collapse
yeah,
again.
yeah.
The creativity in the shop is that all those guys out there get to touch it and we modify it based on what they say. So I'm
Right.
like, how deep does this need to be to effectively sand this quickly? Can we mop sand this? Does this work? And we'll come back and iterate through that and make changes. You guys watching this are going to be the first to see this thing. It's dogmight.com/lantern. It will be in the description below. Then we're going to open it up to everybody on Friday. And we'll be running some contesting stuff with this. Keep an eye out.
Giveaways, yeah.
Some giveaways, some contest stuff to kind of get people interested and get it out there. So make sure you check the site, because we got lots of cool stuff to give away and cool light things that light up on my face like this. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Today I am making a new sled for cross-cutting on a table saw. We use them here pretty much for every product. They get a nice clean square edge, keyword being square. I, especially now being in charge of the mill, have like pretty low tolerance for things that are out of square, things that are poorly sized. It's important, like number one, just in general, because it is a better product. For me, it's hugely important because the more precise we are in the mill, the less work people have to do down the line. If you have like a good foundation, if you're using good tools and you start by making good planks, it's gonna be less work for people in sanding especially. It's gonna be less work for processing. It's gonna be less work for QA. They're not gonna be fixing mistakes using their tools to then have to make our products better when you start with a good product from the beginning. But I mean, if it's not square, then like, what does it even matter? The second most important thing is like, so they're a safer way of cutting. Use a sled. It has like a nice big fence. You have a lot of pushing power behind you. If something binds on the blade, it's not going to send the product back at you. It's important to have like a tight tolerance around the blade. The smaller the opening is, the less room there is for things to fall inside of it. And when you're working with saws as powerful as ours and you're using them as often as you do, I've probably cut like, I'd say over 1,000 Cocos. I think everybody in the shop's cut over 1,000. People have been here over a year, probably cut multiple thousands. I don't know. I can't even estimate. Bikini Kill's a punk band from the 90s. They're a Riot Girl band. I saw them last year. God, it's so hard for me to not look at the camera. All 10 fingers. Keep them. Don't do anything too stupid.
If you could find a historical figure, who would it be?
Ooh, Lincoln. I think he's a tall guy. He's got a lot of reach. I think he'd be a scrappy, tough fight, even like in his older years. But if I were this age right now, yeah, probably be Lincoln.
A person. What? I'm not a violent person. I don't think I'd fight anybody.
Mulan would be pretty cool, I think. that would be. She sounds like a really cool tomboy, and I feel like we'd have a really epic tomboy battle together.
I could fight, like, with my fists. I think I'd rather fight with my fists. Hitler.
Hitler. Of course.
Fucking Hitler, dude. Punch that guy right in his mouth, right in the mush.
Oh man, I really want it to be Teddy Roosevelt. He was a boxer, so it's a really bad idea. I don't know. He'd probably kick my ass. Somebody called him weak for drinking coffee, and then he beat their ass. Maybe not the role model we want for 2020, but
Ben Franklin, whoop his ass.
William Polk. I don't know why. Would.
See?
Yeah. I don't think I'd win, but
You worth a shot.
Yeah.
You look like you've got a lot of reach.
thanks. I'm scrappy.
Yeah.
I have zero muscle, but I'm scrappy.
Genghis Khan, to see how powerful he actually was.
Probably fight Henry Ford. Yeah, he's just a jerk.
I should probably pick somebody who isn't good at fighting, because I certainly am not.
But it would be Alexander the Great. I would like to have a sparring match with him. Oh, he'd murk me. He'd just forget about it.
I would want to mess with like Jet Li or something. You gotta mess with the best so you learn something, even if you do fall on your ass.
Play a bard. Always play a bard. Honestly, it doesn't suck half as bad as everyone says.